Okay, put on your seatbelt. Let's go.
All right, turn up the music.
Welcome to Scream Queens Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast. She's extra excited today. That's your final girl, Justine, and I am your sole survivor, Mr. Josh. Tell him why we're so excited.
Oh, Dios míos. Guys, guess what?
What?
We're going to Spain. We're on the way to the airport right now. We're going to Spain. We're so excited.
We're going to Barcelona, Española. No.
España,
I've been doing my Duolingo. Oh, pardon. I've been doing my Duolingo, and I'm forgetting my words.
Already. Right out the gate.
But yes, this is our first international trip. This is the first trip where we're getting on an airplane. But we're still able to talk to you on our little journey down to Dallas. We're decided to fly out of Dallas. They have more international flights, just be a little easier. And it allows us time to talk to you.
Yes, we have a busy day ahead of us with multiple hours on a whirlwind flight across the globe to Barcelona so that we can visit the filming location for the movie. It isn't what we told you guys we were going to do, but that's okay because it's actually even a better fitting movie for the trip.
It's more in line with the horror genre. We're not doing Almodovar anymore. We are doing REC.
REC, directed by Jaime Balaguero y Paco Plaza. So,
Two
co-directed.
directors. Dos directors. I haven't learned. Duolingo hasn't told me the word for directors yet.
Yes, but we know what the Spanish word for movie is.
Película.
Película. We love, what would we say? We, so nosotros, and we love, which is amor, so amoros.
Películas.
Love, like películas.
And to be honest with you guys, we're not traveling all this way just to see like the one exterior location for REC. We just wanted to go to Barcelona. But while we're there, we can see the location for the movie.
And isn't that incredible that we can still tie, a trip around the world into this podcast? And we're also going, because it happens to be a very, very special episode right here, guys. We're here to celebrate somebody to my left, always to my left.
It's going to be my birthday.
It's going to be your birthday.
Yay, I'm going to turn an age when
You are going to turn an age, a certain age, an age where some people might say, hey, world, look at me thrive. I have amazing skin. I have an amazing life, amazing friends, and everyone is jealous of me. Isn't that what you say every morning, Josh?
That's my affirmation in the mirror every day. Amazing skin, amazing life.
So, thank you for joining us for a very special international episode of our podcast, episode 92, REC/Barcelona.
And I think REC is short for record.
I believe so.
Specifically the button on your camcorder. Or
yes, if you're the cameraman, if you're the camera operator, make sure you are recording everything.
By pressing REC.
REC.
Yes.
So it's not about getting wrecked. It's not about wrecking shit up, but it kind of is. So
people get wrecked in a different way.
People get all kinds of
They get
wrecked.
recorded and wrecked.
Yes. What would that be when it's like a word that means two things, but It doesn't. No.
It's, I think a word that means
It's
two different
bullshit.
things.
It's yeah. Okay.
If they're spelled differently.
Keep going. Are you ready to get into this? Is there anything like? Okay, so we're going to Barcelona, and we are going to do one of the obvious things, which is a bunch of Gaudi.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to jump full into
Casa
our
Mille,
our experience.
Sagrada
La Sagrada Familia. Yes.
See, guys, I'm already.
We're going to Park Güell. We have tickets reserved to go into one of the towers and to see, the beautiful cityscape of Barcelona in the La Sagrada Familia. There's a few churches and crypts and catacombs we're going to go visit, and museums. We are going to go to the Picasso Museum.
We'll go up to Mount Juic, which is like
Montjuic.
a castle/fortress military base from like the 1700s.
It looks really cool. You can take a little Skyliner kind of funicular to get from the bottom to the top and
from the
vice
bottom
versa.
to the top in my Oh no.
Your what? What? We plan to go. We're also trying to maybe clap if you know, and we can't hear you clapping, but just clap, right?
We'll
if you know
hear
the
you in
movie.
spirit.
Vicky Cristina Barcelona, we're trying to have ourselves a Joshy and Justine Barcelona.
Yeah. Joshy, Justine,
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
We don't have, I guess hopes and dreams of, a Spanish man just sweeping us off our feet. And
We will have many Spanish lovers while we are there. Many.
And it'll be tapas and lots of different foods and
Tapas,
coffee.
Vino, cava.
Many
Many Spanish men.
What in the world? Okay, I'm a little concerned that we wouldn't leave.
Yeah, that's true.
We'd get really tied down.
Hopefully we don't
to
get.
a non-committal, artist man who's still in love with his ex-wife, and
No, with our luck, we're gonna get trapped somewhere.
Oh
They're
my
gonna lock
gosh.
us in. There's gonna be demon
Sex
possession
trafficked.
/ like zombie demons almost.
Yes, yeah. In our luck, we would be in the hotel that got the infection from the REC movie, but
Yeah. That's our luck.
should we go ahead and just segue in?
Yeah, let's get talking about the movie. And remember, stay tuned for part 2 of our show, the
It'll be
second
pretty
half.
heavy.
It'll be maybe even longer than part 1, where we're just telling you every amazing thing we did.
Yes, and we plan to do even more than we just talked about, but you'll have to stay tuned to find out everything.
Yeah.
We have reservations for every day.
That's right.
It's a fun-filled adventure. Okay, so REC, it is starring Manuela Velasco. She plays the reporter Angela, and she is also a reporter in Barcelona in real life. At the time, I'm not sure, I didn't look up to see if she's still carrying on that career today, but she's our main face.
Yes, and I do love watching like local television, like when you're in Europe or even in another state, just that you get some of the local feel and flavor, just seeing like their local news.
Check reported ahead
Oh,
35 south.
they're talking.
Ooh,
We
we
got
got a
speed check.
speed check.
But
Oh my God.
so I'll flip around and see if maybe we can find her. But that could just be some bullshit IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, she's really a reporter, but maybe she is.
But maybe she is, yeah. Of
She's
course,
great in this movie.
I've never seen any, actual footage of her doing a real life thing, but I can imagine. She presents herself. I know she's being an actress, but she looks like she's pretty well trained in
Yeah.
this movie. Like, with.
And she's pretty funny. Like the movie starts and she's just talking to her cameraman. She works for a show called While You Sleep, right?
Mhm. And it's like one of those late night shows that we have countless ones over here. If you're staying up late and all of a sudden there's like a host coming on that's like, we're going to go to a factory. We're going to do, like, that's what she's doing.
And when did this movie come out? 2009?
2007.
2007.
Is what IMDb says.
Yes. And that makes sense because then it quickly got like the American remake that was what?
Say 15
Quarantine.
minutes via State Highway
Oh.
114 East.
My goodness. Maybe I need to turn her down because, girl, you can't be talking during our thing. All right, but she did want to save us because there is a definite speed check ahead. Thank you, baby girl.
We'll go
Appreciate
ahead.
you. All right, let's get back into it. We've
So-
just opened, and we've got our reporter, Anula, and she is talking to her cameraman, Pablo, and they're our duo through this movie, and they are visiting a firehouse in Barcelona where there's just a bunch of firefighters, and they want to see what a night is like in the firehouse and the different, like, you know, things that they do.
Oh, it's funny, the firemen seem, you know, like, they're kind of like whatever about her being there. They're kind of eyeballing her. They're like, oh, there's, you know, a new woman around. Other people just seem like they could care less, especially the women. They don't want to be on camera. And it's very mundane. She's just walking around like, here's where they go down a pole. Here is where they eat. You know, it's really setting you up so later when you start getting those shocking moments, they feel like they've come out of nowhere.
Yes, and she's also trying to kind of like stage things as well, because it is a boring evening. And so she's like interviewing some of the firefighters and asking, like, could we get the sirens to come on and just act like there is an emergency?
Yeah.
And you can tell that they've been there for a while. She gets to the point that she even starts playing like basketball with them and trying on their clothes, like their outfits that they wear, you know, and making jokes about it. But it is when she's playing basketball that she gets what she's asked for, and an alarm goes off, and they jump into action and say they need to get to an apartment building, that they've gotten a call in about a lady who is kind of manic, hysterical, needs assistance.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for, lady. You know, all night she's been wanting something to happen. Now something's going to happen, and I think she'll live to regret it, or maybe not live to regret it.
Dun, dun, dun! And we get a sequence of the firefighters and her getting into the truck, and also during this little truck ride, she's asking for them to put the sirens on, and they're like, well, it's actually not an urgent call, so we don't put the sirens on when it's not an urgent call.
Especially in the middle of the night.
Because people are sleeping, but she's wanting to sensationalize it, and so her cameraman and she just got like faces she's making of like, okay, this is quite a boring episode, you know, nobody seems to be really buying into the hype of it.
And do we ever... I can't remember if we actually ever see Pablo's face. If we do, it's very brief. But he's definitely a big presence. She's constantly talking to Pablo.
We see his legs, because he sets the camera down at one point and has a conversation with her, and we see like his
boots,
pant leg, and his shoes and stuff, but we never see his face. The next sequence is they get there, they arrive, there's a police officer who kind of becomes the police officer presence through the first bit of the movie. I've never caught his name in all my watchings, but the firefighters' names are Alex and Mano. And the police officer is telling them that there's a lady inside, all of the people on the first floor, because I've learned that in Europe, the first floor is actually the actual first floor that you go in, and when you're walking into a building, that's the ground floor, and then you have your first floor. So what in here in America or in the United States we would call second floor.
Yeah.
So there's a lady up on that floor, and she is upset. She's deranged or manic, hysterical. They don't know. She's just screaming. And all of the neighbors that are on that floor and above are now in the reception area. And they're all trying to talk over each other, and now they see that there's like a reporter and a camera man. And
some people aren't happy that there's a camera there. It gets worse later on.
Yes, but kind of from the beginning, that police officer wasn't made aware.
Like, why are you here? You know, she's like, I have permission.
And you can kind of tell that he is like, oh, I don't know if this is what, you know, we want to be putting on camera. And now, once they see what it is that this lady and stuff is like all covered in and everything, a part of me is like, how come it wasn't more urgent? You know, why was it that they like responded with little urgency? Because it's pretty like emergent.
I feel like they already knew what was going on, because think of how fast, like basically like the SWAT team, like how fast they cover that apartment up. And
I wonder, if sadly, if that fire group was never even supposed to respond to that call, and the SWAT team didn't interject in time. But that's a digression, guys. Let's get back on track.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
So, cameraman and Angela and our two firefighters and the police officer they're going up the staircase, and the policeman is having to tell the neighbors, like, stay on the ground floor, like, quit following me up.
But they are such
curious,
nosy little, I was gonna say bitches, but
well, they're kind of bitches. Like,
they are.
Everybody at first comes off a little sweetly, and then you see everyone's kind of true colors come out, especially when there's like prejudice and wanting to place blame. There's some stuff that is said, but the policeman is telling the firefighters, okay, here we are. We're right in front of the door to this lady's very nice apartment complex, by the way. This lady lives in a very nice apartment. And she's in there. She is screaming. We just need to somehow get her, like, contained and calmed down.
She's
and
like
so,
half cooter out with
Yeah.
just like a little nightie on that's like covered in mucus and blood.
Yeah, it's quite
It's nasty.
and there's a long shot too down the hallway. How the apartment is designed, it has a very long corridor-like hallway.
And she's silhouetted.
Yes, and but you can tell she's covered in something. Her hair is matted. She looks like aggressive, like she's going to be aggressive towards whoever confronts her.
She could have easily walked onto the set of The Walking Dead and fit right in.
Absolutely. And so you've got the firefighters and police officer. They're kind of around her, and Angela is telling Pablo, like, you're gonna film everything. Don't you turn your camera off. You get everything. The lady looks crazy, and she's screaming for no reason, it seems.
She's like, let's exploit this for our late night show that no one watches.
Yeah, we got to get the views. She was trying to get, what is it? Fans, not friends.
Yeah.
And there's a moment, and you kind of like catch it, like Pablo catches it on the camera, where that opportunity for the old lady to showcase just her madness, and the police officer has turned to like talk to the firefighters, and like they look like almost they're going to get her under control. You know, like they're touching her and starting to kind of bear hug her in. Yeah. And then she just goes for this police officer's face, neck, jugular, and she's getting bites in.
Oh, and she's pulling, and you're seeing like the stringy neck things. It's good special effects makeup because it's nausea-inducing.
Yeah, I just did a little gag thinking in my mind
just
about it.
It's everywhere.
It's biles all over me. Sorry, I had a hash brown earlier, but now it's up.
And then it's like chaos from this moment. People are trying to get her off of him. Angela doesn't really know what to do. She's freaking out. Pablo! We hear a lot of that in this movie. Pablo!
They're kind of both like tucked away in a corner. Like she's crying and screaming, and he is, he's trying to focus and getting all that footage. Firefighters are now, they've gotten her. They've knocked her out kind of for a second, and they get the police officer, and they're hauling him down the staircase, and now everybody is seeing, like, he's profusely bleeding, and he's now very white, so you can tell, like, he's losing blood immediately.
Yeah. And they get him downstairs, but right away they are not letting them out. They're trying to get an ambulance, but the doors are locked. Mm-hmm. They're screaming like he's losing too much blood. He's gonna die of blood loss, but that doesn't get the doors unlocked.
No, and nobody knows what's going on. They're just kind of banging, and one of the you can see a police presence coming up from the kind of clear. It's an iron gate, but there's like clear glass, so you can see the reflection and stuff. And we see the red and the blue lights, and you can hear the sounds of like helicopter like wings. So there starts to be a presence outside. You can hear beepers, like walkie-talkies.
So it's like they had to have known something. There was
Yeah.
too much of a police presence that came a little too fast. And helicopters, why would helicopters come if it was just, any kind of emergency in the middle of the night?
And like spotlight kind of being shined through, but the spotlight from a helicopter. So you're like, why are they needing to basically highlight that building from the sky? And so they are freaking out. There's two men holding this other man who is bleeding out right before them. Everybody is screaming at this point. And the apartment complex, like how it's built, there's a stairwell, but there is an opening. And you could, from the top floor, look down and see the ground level floor.
It's one of those like classic apartments that you see in movies where like from the top you can look down. It's like not quite like a tight spiral, but you know what I mean? Where there's like a center.
And you can see as other people are going up the staircase, and that's important to the storytelling in itself for us to let you know what the staircase looks like.
Do we all sense this when the body hits the
Yes.
flow? Let the bodies hit the flow.
So there is a mother holding her daughter at this point. She's trying to explain to, they find out that there's a nurse that's in the building, that lives in the building, and it's a man, and he is kind of immediately assessing the police officer, and she is talking to this woman with this child that she's holding. The child's probably about 6 years old, 7 years old.
And the lady's like, she has tonsillitis.
Yes, she has tonsillitis. She needs her antibiotics. We have to get out.
Her father was out getting the antibiotics.
It's when this lady is explaining her child's situation that we see this brief flash of like a body drop and this thud. It's a very powerful thud too.
And it brings the chaos back. Everyone starts screaming and freaking out again.
And everybody turns around.
Rightfully so.
We see it's one of the firefighters that had stayed up and was probably, like maintaining the situation on the first floor with the old lady, but he lost, and she, I guess, threw his ass out the over the staircase,
over the
and
banister.
he falls, and
She's like,
over the
"See ya."
banister, and he is also chewed up, and he probably broke a few bones having fallen from that height.
He got chewed up and spit out onto the floor below.
And now we have 2 injured people and no way out, and there's no explanation. There is another police officer in the building at this time, and he goes back up to, with Pablo and Angela. We hadn't really met this police officer. We saw him there just kind of like helping with the neighbors and keep the residents like under control while the policeman that was bitten got bitten. So now we have a police officer that goes upstairs. Following is the cameraman and Angela, and he's basically gonna go up there and do what he needs to do, take that lady out. He shoots. She starts running down that hallway to try to come after him.
It's so scary too, because she is making noises and grunts, and she's like, "Ah!" But she just starts charging him, and
it's like she's charging him like a bull.
Yeah, it startled me.
And he shoots her, and immediately Angela's like, "Did you get that on film?"
Yeah, did you get that? It's gonna be good.
You better have gotten that on film. She even wants to rewatch it, so she and I don't think she's wanting to rewatch it because she's getting any kind of
Right. I think it's more so like, look
Did
what's
that
going
happen?
on in here. These people won't let us out. We need to film everything.
Yeah.
Could even be for litigious reasons. You
like
know?
yeah, like I think it is. Like she's like, "Can I see that played back?" One, I don't even believe that happened, but 2, like, did he have real reason to shoot that woman?
And that little girl's mom earlier was like, film everything. Film everything.
Yes.
I'm going to sue.
Yeah, there is going to be a moment where there's interviews that are had, and she's going to make that admission.
But she had already kind of said that earlier when they were fighting, when one of the officers was like, turn that off. She's like, no, keep it on.
You
film.
keep it on. So, yeah, everybody's kind of thinking, there's a lot of sus things happening, but before the bitings happened, people were already like, why are we down here? And what's going on? And so they thought it was sus. We have...
Something's got to do with something.
Yeah, some got to do with something. So we've shot the lady. It was when he went up, though, to shoot the lady that another lady came running out. It was like a girl. They call her the Colombian girl in the movie. We don't get an actual name. So that the old lady had bitten her, and now they have another girl that's been bitten that they have to worry about, might try to find them in the house, or in the apartment complex. And they, the cameraman, Angela, and the police officer that shot the old lady, they go back downstairs, and it's at this time that they get kind of an announcement from the other side of the building, from the police presence, the SWAT team that's on the other side.
It's basically telling them, like, stay in there, we're getting some test done, we're going to test all your blood, make sure everything's okay. And then Angela's like, just the residents, or like everybody in here?
Yeah, so this announcement is letting them know that there's like a biological threat that might be on hand, and they're going to shut them off and keep them in there. And then they let, over the loudspeaker, they're like, we're going to send in an agent. And so there is somebody from the outside that then enters the complex, starts giving them like some bandages and stuff, because they have a nurse, but they need to get some help to these men that are dying. And they make like kind of makeshift infirmary in a room and get them set up.
And it's kind of around this time too that they're like, no, put the camera down. And so they pretend to, they keep it running and set it down. And this is when we get to see Pablo's boots, her feet.
And the two of them are kind of making like a pact. Like, we're gonna commit to filming everything. It's more than just suspect. There is some kind of wrongdoing going on, and we've got to have this documented for many certain reasons.
Yeah.
And they decide, all right, we're going to interview people. We're also just waiting. We're having to kill time now while there's SWAT teams making the rounds all on the exteriors, and they just aren't getting any information yet. And the agent that's there is really unwilling to tell them just exactly what's going on and why all the people on the outside think that there's something biological going on.
Yeah, he's very vague about everything. And even when Angela, I'm not sure if she's done this yet already, she's already kind of run around to the windows upstairs, and there's just, everything's already barricaded. But all the info they're getting is, when we find out more, we'll let you out. We'll let you know.
Yeah. So they start, Pablo and Angela just start doing some interviews, and we meet more of the people that have kind of been on the outskirts of all the residents, and we've only gotten just a little sprinkle of them. The most we've gotten is the mother and the daughter.
And there's like an elderly couple that seem really sweet. There's older gentleman we'll find out, is pretty racist.
Well, the elderly couple is racist as well. They blame everybody blames the certain family,
Japanese
and we'll get
family.
that. We'll get there. But so there is a Japanese family. They all are we meet the mother especially, and she is speaking very conversational Spanish, talking to the reporter about what she's witnessed, and she has a sick father that's up on her floor that couldn't come down, and they're all pointing fingers like, well, maybe he's the reason why we're all sick. Then the mother and the daughter do their interview, and it's Angela's interviewing the daughter, and she gets like a lot of information out of the daughter. The daughter tells her about her little dog at home who's feeling a little sick, and so the dad went to the vet to get her to feel better. And the mom's kind of interrupting during this time, like, okay, but
don't say too much.
And then he's going to go get you some, because you have tonsillitis, got to get you antibiotics. There's the old couple, they're trying to explain what they saw, but really, you're just getting more of like a point of view of the two of them as a couple, this like old couple that's arguing. And at first the old man is like, you tell the story, I was asleep. And like, as quickly as he's like, yeah, you tell the story, he like wants to take the story, and then she's talking over him, and they're just like,
typical.
It's funny. You get a laugh in the middle of high tension moments there. Okay, so after all these interviews take place, and we've seen the state of the 2 men that were bitten because they are in ill repair. We've seen like injections go into their face wounds, and their like eyes are like the whites of their eyes are showing. They're in so much immense pain. The agent is like trying to get people to come in and look at those 2 victims,
but they're trying to keep everybody also kind of out of that area where
yes,
the victims are being held.
And Angela and Pablo are like trying to look in and like get their camera at an angle to where they can see into the little infirmary that's been made.
They're standing on like desks and cabinets trying to like shoot footage over through like a little crack in a window.
And there's like, they're putting so the agent tells everybody, he's like, hey guys, we're gonna need to do blood tests on all the residents.
Okay, yeah,
it's different than like, oh, if you're the camera, Angela, no, we don't need your blood, we need the residents. We think there's some contaminant that's happened here at the complex. And there's these men in hazmat suits that come in. They're gonna take the blood, but they're also gonna go to the infirmary. And what we think initially is like, oh, they're gonna give like those poor men some like painkillers or something. Then we start hearing the word vaccine kind of thrown around, but it doesn't matter, because once the hazmat suit people get into the infirmary and they start giving the medicines to the 2 male victims, they don't respond well to it. In fact,
makes them angry.
It makes them so mad, and they start attacking the people in the hazmat suits. There's more chaos that happens.
Do you think they're anti-vaxxers? Is that why they got so angry?
They're like, I didn't want this poison in me. And so there's a big attack scene where a lot of additional people that had come from outside to give those medicines and to take the blood, they're also getting attacked. There's more residents that get attacked and get bitten during this time. We do learn after this scene when one of the I don't know, it's just somebody in a hazmat suit that's giving medical, like, he tells Angela and Pablo, the agent, and Mano, who's like the only firefighter that's ended up surviving all this stuff, hey, so the reason why, and at this time he's explaining everything. Jennifer, the little girl, her name's Jennifer, and her mom are like standing there, and like she's all holding her, and Jennifer herself is looking pretty haggard and like real sick. Not even just like antibiotics, I need sick.
More than tonsillitis.
Yes. And the hazmat suit man goes, well, so this all started because there was a dog that was brought into a vet's office, and that dog ended up going berserk, biting other dogs, biting the vet, and then they had to shut that down, but then the illness had already gotten out, and we tracked where the dog was from, and it's here, and then everybody starts looking at Jennifer and her mom.
She's like, no, it's tonsillitis, I promise.
And that's when Jennifer bites her own mother's face.
Yeah.
And then she immediately gets dropped by her mom.
And we're like, oh shit, there is something going on here, for sure.
And she's squealing and screaming. Little Jennifer is like, ah! Like frightening, and runs up the staircase. So now we've got some like possessed, contagious child who bites. And, it's your worst nightmare, okay?
Yeah, little children like going berserk and feral. That's pretty scary stuff.
And so the agent and Pablo, and they all run upstairs to try to catch Jennifer, and then they forget that there's now like other people that are possibly infected, so they're only looking for Jennifer, but there's other attacks that are happening, and then Jennifer ends up attacking the agent guy, biting him. It's just, it's madness what's going on. Every doorway could possibly be where you get attacked.
Yeah. And of course, during all this, we're hearing, Pablo! Pablo, over here, Pablo!
And there's a moment where Pablo and Angela and Mano are like, okay, let's open up this doorway and see if we can get out that way. And they try to. And the men that had been sick and were dying are now fully like regenerated. They start chasing after them.
Yes.
Okay, this whole scene, how they run away from these two men that come out of that infirmary area, and the fact that Jennifer's mom is now handcuffed to a stairwell because they got scared of her. It all looks like this crazy, like, zombie haunted house that they're having to run up, and
it's like Walking Dead meets the Haunted Mansion.
And they're having to go up all these floors. They're trying to find like a safe place. One of the old men that looks very, I swear, this old man that I'm referring to with the mustache, he reminds me of the Duolingo character in our app that's like, Juan y Miguel.
Yeah.
It's that guy, but not like, it's an avatar of him. But so this guy is trying to tell them before he gets bitten, like, there's a key somewhere, and there's like a top floor, and there's a way to get out. And Angela's like, okay, all right, we'll figure it out. As he's being like attacked and pulled through like a doorway. It's kind of sad because you're like, oh, he was trying to help and give them good advice. But the last part, it's interesting how honestly this movie plays. Is we've got this like haunted house zombie thing that happens where they're just running away from all of these, what we're just gonna call them that, zombies.
It's
like
a really great like chase sequence too.
They're going up the stairwell. There's this shot of her looking down to,
and you see them all looking up at her.
And they're like, like squealing and then faster moving, trying to get up the stairwell.
And you're thinking too, there's no way she's gonna get to that door, get the right key, because didn't she found like a big set of keys.
Yes, and they're just sitting there
and you're like, go, 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 lady!
It's that classic Halloween H2O moment when like, or even the original where she's like jumbling at the door, the keys. But she finally, we get the door open, and now it's like just down to the two of them, Pablo and Angela, and they've gotten into this like top level apartment.
They get themselves barricaded in, and they get a light or two on, or no, they're using the light from the camera, right?
Yes,
the spotlight.
But there is like still electricity because there's like, it's like an abandoned apartment.
Yeah, it's
and
really dirty and dank.
And they don't understand, like, how come
unkept,
no one's living here? And she's like looking around. There's tons of like newspaper articles in this apartment. And it does look like someone lived there, but then just left, abandoned it.
We're definitely getting all the oh my god, I can't speak today. Exposition that we need from all these like newspapers on the wall. It's like,
we be
girl
getting
possessed.
that
Expedition. We got an expedition.
Yeah, we get this strange apartment that's just newspaper clippings of a Catholic priest who went to Portugal to see this little Portuguese girl that had been possessed, and then she, I guess due to her possession, was taken to like a mental hospital, and then she escaped, but they couldn't find the priest anymore. Turns out he's also kind of like a doctor, and so he surmised by just observing her and not being able to get the demon out of her that she was like actually sick and had something. Took her back to his apartment, because that's just what you do, right? When you just want to perform mad science.
You're like, I'll figure this out.
Yeah, I'll just break her out of a mental hospital.
I'll Dr. Frankenstein this shit and figure it out.
It'll be fine. And so he's got this like young woman at his apartment, but then he finds out, and we are learning all of this because he leaves he pulls a total Evil Dead on us and leaves a recorder with all of his
Yeah.
medical findings of...
And my favorite part of this is every time she rewinds it or fast forwards and stops it to play, it's like at the perfect spot.
It's exactly the more information that
Yeah.
we need to know. And it is very much, it reminds me that I feel like they were influenced by Evil Dead in this, and how the storytelling happens of
Yeah.
like, I found all of this and I'm doing all of these tests on her, but it's not looking great. Actually, it looks like it's getting worse. It's mutated. It looks like it's contagious. I'm not feeling too well. I'm going to have to trap her into this room and seal her off, and I'm going to eliminate her.
Yeah. I guess he did.
Yeah. So now they're all standing around like, where's this sealed off room? And like, just when they ask the question, the attic door like drops open, and we see this hole in the ceiling, and Angela's like, what was that? Like, Pablo, put your camera up there, look at the light, let's see.
Oh yeah.
Bad
So he
idea.
does, and he's looking around doing like, whole 360 panorama of the attic, when all of a sudden you see like a face scream right at you.
It's like a face that hadn't seen sunlight in a while.
And
honey.
he falls out of the attic, and she's like, what did you see? And he's like, nothing.
But he does, he says like there was something,
Yeah.
like, oh my God, something, but get over here and be quiet, and we hear this like bang, but it's like a metal hitting metal kind of sound, and Pablo's really good. He like quickly puts it together that like, that's a person that's been trapped in here. They can't see, they're blind, so be quiet and they won't see you. That's why they're banging stuff around.
Angela's just hyperventilating. She's trying to control herself by having her hand over her mouth, but she's definitely like doing
and that little creature can hear it, and at first we don't see it. There's like silhouettes of it, and you can see the silhouette of it looks kind of alien. It reminds me of a later movie, a movie we've more recently seen, Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like how gangly, tall, very spindly, like the arms and stuff are real long and lanky, and
almost like, did she have problems before she got
right,
sick?
yeah. And I think so. I think like this is a deformed, deranged, not possessed, but certainly got sick with something kind of human being, and that human being is now like a walking zombie.
And it's very, very creepy character design. Like the special effects, however they extend her limbs. I don't think it was CGI. It might have been CGI, but it looks really good. And very scary.
And the skin is very like saggy, because you can tell like that it's not eaten a lot, so it's very
titties
thin.
are hanging down. Like,
has some underwear that's been defecated into the point of like, that's just giving you rash, girl.
Those are like the nastiest panties I've ever seen.
Nastiest, and Josh loves to smell some nasty panties.
Ew.
Were you looking at those panties like?
I was like, give me
I want to sniff them.
I want to sniff
I
that.
want to smell them.
Ew.
Give me, I want to smell it.
I want to smell your vag puss. Or
Ew.
no, I meant vag.
Ew.
I meant vag puss, not puss.
You're all kinds of tongue-tied today.
Smell your vag puss.
Okay, so it's the last bit scene of the movie. They don't do a very good job of keeping quiet.
Oh, and this bitch has a hammer.
Yeah, we do see it with the night vision on the camera that like we see the metal thing is a hammer, and she's just walking around just banging it on
just
shit.
swinging it around.
And they are found, and she hears them, and she starts beating Pablo to shit
poor
with this
Pablo.
hammer.
Because he had been Angela's kind of calming force. Like anytime
Yes.
she was freaking out, he could kind of maybe calm her down, talk her back into like, hey, you've got to be quiet or we're going to get got.
And they do.
But he's gone.
And we get would at the time would have been a rather new-ish, but yet still influenced by Blair Witch Project. We get that found footage where the last character is holding onto the or like trying to find the camera, looking into the camera, crawling towards it, and then pulled out of frame. You get that, and
now that's so overdone in horror movies.
Yes.
But that element's not necessarily in Blair Witch, but the whole like the camera getting knocked down,
Right.
and the last thing you see is where the camera was left, and a disjointed view.
Yeah, but I just mean like where you have just that lone character, like you get to see them go away, and then the camera shuts off. And that's the
Yeah.
end, and that's when it's like found footage.
Yeah, and this is one of the better found footage movies, I'd say. And it was in that earlier time before it became such a cliche. I think this might have even been before Cloverfield, or maybe right around the same time.
Yeah.
That's another good one. But, it's something, especially in the horror genre, that's a little overdone now. And they can still be good if they come up with a exciting idea. But they did with this one. I believe in my heart.
And although it does not, this movie doesn't completely showcase Barcelona, what I do love is that it's short, it's concise, it's one location primarily, and we have these central characters. We follow them all along their journey.
Yeah, at an hour and 20 minutes, you never feel like it's overstayed its welcome. You never get bored. The gimmick doesn't get tiresome. It's like short, sweet, in, out.
And we don't know until like the very end that it is a found footage kind of situation. Because for a little bit, I'm thinking they might survive this.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just watching them play it back
Before they edit it together
Yes.
for the While You Were Sleeping show.
Yeah, it could be, right? There could be that, like, okay, and then the camera pans to the two of them eating popcorn, and but it doesn't. They do die, and this is a found footage movie, and it's a pretty good damn found footage film. But we'll get into our judgments, our fave scenes,
And we'll tell
on
you
the
about
other
our
side.
trip when we get back, guys. I'm so excited. We're not even to the airport yet. We have a long day going from here to Philly to Barcelona. So,
and by the time we talk to you again, we will have spent 7 days in Europe, 6 days in Barcelona, Spain. We're going to spend a day in Perpignan, France.
which is right over the border of Spain. We'll go through the Pyrenees and spend like a fun full day in southern France.
And then by the time we talk to you guys again, we will, have had that journey and can't wait to tell you about it. So hang tight, just a couple of seconds. Have a good listen to Bad Athlete, and we will be back.
We'll be right back.
Adios!
Just wanna go home. I may be shaking inside. I'm not the kind to run and hide. Come out, I'll take you all on my own. I've got you figured out. Tough luck, you're in my world now. I have no doubt, I have no fear. I'm gonna make you disappear. We are the scream queens, running through the night. We are the scream queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright.
Hola.
Hola!
We are back in the, how do you say it in Spanish? United
El
States.
Gato? Oh, we're in the car. Yes, in the Estados Unidos.
Yes.
Yes.
See. Had the best time ever. It's been a week since we got back. We were just too tired and cranky.
Oh my gosh.
When
It
we
was.
landed. They lost one of my suitcases.
It was drama, and so we were just in moments of quiet solitude, and we had just been on a flight that, I don't know, it wasn't that it had turbulence or anything, it was just long, and long.
9.5 hours coming back from Spain. Coming back, it was Barcelona, Madrid, all the way to Dallas, and then we drove back up, and that's a 3-hour drive. So, yeah, we just now here we are.
Yeah.
It's a week later.
Yeah, we decided we would just go for a wonderful fall drive. It is the first day of fall.
We're kind of heading to lunch, and we are here to reminisce about our trip with you guys. We had the best of times, and there were no worst of times. It was all the best of times.
It was magical. It was gorgeous weather.
Gorgeous weather. It's the coolest, grittiest, most beautiful city. So alive, such good food.
Right there on the water.
Oh, we had a great beach day on my birthday.
Yes, in the Barceloneta.
Yeah, the Playa de Barcelona.
Oh my goodness. It was also just completely out of this world too. Like, so diverse and so filled with art and culture. It was so vibrant. We went to a flamenco dance show that like knocked us out of our chairs. Jaw drop.
We were front row. That was one of my favorite experiences.
Yes.
Was the flamenco show, and they're so into it, and they're singing on stage and hyping each other up, and their faces are so serious, and you just kind of get swept away in it all. And it was only an hour, and when it ended, we were like,
wait,
well,
what? We're not done.
Yeah, we could sit for another hour.
We, right out the gate when we arrived, we had to keep ourselves occupied. Our hotel room wasn't ready. They let us check our luggage there, but, we were ready to go, too. There was just something about being there, and it was fully daytime there. Like, the day had just kind of begun.
Yeah.
So we jam-packed our first day. We got, what's funny is, like, here we had just been on this flight across the ocean, and we still checked all the boxes. Like, we got all of our stand goal points, we got all of our move goal points, we got all of our exercise points. We did like 20,000 steps.
Oh my gosh. We overdid it. I nearly passed out at the end of the night in a sandwich shop because we, after like 40 hours of being awake and then walking, like she said, 20,000 steps and in the sun and just all over the place, I got a little...
He got a little bit
heat exhausted, and then, I don't know. I nearly passed the fuck out.
He did. He had to lean up against some old wall that had been there for 1,000 years.
And breathe like I was doing Lamaze.
Yeah, we were on the La Rambla and just picked up these wonderful bocadillos, these sandwiches that we grew to just absolutely love. Like, couldn't go a day without having.
I know. We fell in love with so much kind of food that we became addicted to. Like this toast with like this tomato spread, and I mean like fresh
tomatoes, just basically kind of pureed up, and it's olive oil, a little salt and pepper. It's amazing. And on just like toast.
I'm not much of a tomato person. I mean I like tomatoes. I'm super picky about tomatoes though, and texture. They have to be a nice firm tomato, but this was to die for.
You gesticulated with your hands just
I
now.
know they couldn't
firm
see.
was
Firm.
like,
and I was like cutting it.
And
really.
he was using his hand like a knife.
I hate when you cut a tomato and it's all squishy and doesn't cut nice.
Oh yeah,
like,
kind of rips the skin up.
Yeah, it gets all even mushier. No, it's got to be a nice, ripe, firm tomato. That just cuts all.
We had some firm tomato.
That was great.
It was great.
All the tapas and fries and croquettes and paella.
Oh my gosh, the potatoes bravas.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
One night we had that amazing sea urchin fideuà.
Oh yes. It was like a long grain rice.
Yeah, it's almost
pasta.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a paella, but with like that really fine long grain pasta.
It was so good.
Oh, it was amazing. We had some of the best.
We had a lot of seafood.
Food nights and drink nights.
Empanadas.
So much Aperol spritzes
and sangria de cava.
Pictures of it at meals.
Oh,
but the alcohol content's not like that high in those.
Yeah,
it's very fruity and fresh.
It was
bubbly.
light and refreshing, very effervescent.
I never got wasted off the sangria.
No, but we got nice little buzzes. And but when we first got there, we went ahead and just checked off the box of going to the filming location because surprisingly, it was really easy to find, and we got to see a Gaudi on our way there. So we were like, oh, hi there. And our days were filled with Gaudi and Picasso and other artists that were inspired by them and influenced by them during that modernista time.
Even when you're not expecting a Gaudi, you'll be like, oh hi, there's a Gaudi.
There's a Gaudi bench.
Yeah, Gaudi benches. And, I mean, he did the whole city. He
Yeah.
came up with the archetype of the streets and like.
The expansion was he was a part of the whole expansion movement that happened in the late, like after 1850s, and they grew their city exponentially, and he was a spectacular part of that, and the city is just a huge stamp of his love.
Because if it's not a Gaudi, it was somebody that was influenced by Gaudi.
Absolutely.
Such a visually neat city. I love the Gothic Quarter and the Old Town, where you just go through these beautiful little streets.
All these churches so close, the corridors.
You feel like you are walking down little medieval streets, basically.
Yeah. You walk by at one point a wall that they have like a plaque, and it's called the Roman Wall, and it's been there like since like Roman times, and like we found out that Barcelona was called Barcino and was founded by the Roman general Hannibal. It's like there's so much history and culture interwoven. Their streets are like these spider webs of just activity, little marquettes everywhere with fresh foods, things to like. One day we went to the Boccheria, which is just their meat market, but way more than just meat.
Oh, it's huge. There's like candy stalls. There's stalls that just sell like salt and oils and
fruit and vegetables just to eat while you're walking around. The bocadillos, these sandwiches that have like their kind of signature Iberian ham.
Yeah, they're so good.
And their signature Manchego cheese.
And they would have, pastries and like it's so huge. It was wonderful. I got like this yummy little like Danish roll.
Oh yes,
ate that for my birthday. And then we also went to this place called John Cake.
We went
times.
Multiple times.
And it was some of the best cheesecake I've ever had. What's funny, I've Googled it since we've been back, and it's like huge in the food world. John Cake. Like, it's actually very famous. So I was like, we had heard it about it on TikTok. I heard it was amazing, but
it was the most creamiest.
It's a very celebrated place.
Like I've never had cheesecake like that, and now everything will fall under that. Like it's the best cheesecake I've ever tasted.
And I'm a fan of a big, thick, dense New York style cheesecake, but this is like weirdly fluffy and creamy. It like melts. You get like it's a little sharp. Slightly. Like you can tell it's made with like goat cheese or something. Yes,
and the brulee top, it's like caramelized, like
so
just
good.
Adds to the flavor. Holy moly.
Yeah, we had great food moments.
A lot of great food moments. We had these frites that were covered in like toppings, these French fries that had mine had these peppers and cheese, and Josh, you had some with like bacon.
I had mine with like Spanish bacon and egg and mayonnaise, which I know you guys are probably like,
but so good.
I love mayonnaise and fries.
Yeah, me too.
It's like with it. And they serve it to you just in a big old cone. You buy it off of this little place called Las Fritas. But fries in general are really big there, especially with egg on top. We had a lot of that.
Huevos.
Oh, so good.
We went to this like super fun candle shop that had been there since like the mid 1700s, and
went to a magic shop, like a genuine like magic shop. It was really neat.
That was neat. There were just so many little markets.
Remember when you farted
squares.
in the magic shop and then acted like it was your foot?
We ate so much food. It was coming out all the ends. My sister joined us as well.
Yes, Dakota, shout out.
Had some of the best, kookiest, funniest times with her.
We did.
We also became European members of a wonderful club where we got to enjoy and partake in some 420 magic in Barcelona. It was incredible. And now we're a part of a European club.
Yes,
you're jealous. Say it, you're jealous.
And with Dakota, we went to this really cool speakeasy one night that looks like it's in a little supermercado, but in the back, opens into this beautiful nightclub.
Yes, so fun.
And I'm more of like a bar person, not so much a club person, but it was a really cool atmosphere.
And it did not end up being like that whole like discotheque kind
Right,
of
there wasn't like a dance
atmosphere,
floor. It was
no.
really more like an upscale bar.
Yeah,
I guess
and
you
then
could
like
say.
there was music playing, pumping through, people were vibing, but there was tons of places to just sit and vibe with your friends
It
and
was
have
really
some
fun.
good drinks.
We had Aperol spritzes. That was like our drink.
It was our if we weren't having sangria de cava at like restaurants, we would get that. But if we were just like having a drink at a bar, it was gonna be Aperol spritz. Woo!
On my birthday, coming back down from, we went to this place called the Tibidabo. It's
Yes.
this antique amusement park that's been there since like the early 1900s. I think 1905 it was first built or something, it said.
And we'd become aware of it because of our love of the Woody Allen film Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and it's honestly a very magical moment there on a mountaintop. There's this amusement park that has like an airplane ride that kind of takes you
Oh, it's
off
so cute.
the cliff a little bit, so you're
And you're high up. You're like
Yeah.
at the tip top of Barcelona. There's an old cathedral that's up there. We were seeing it all week.
and
we
being like, how do you get up there?
Yeah, and we thought it was something else, but it's so brightly lit at night that it's always like, what is that up on that
gorgeous.
hill?
But on our last night, we took the funicular up
Down.
there, or down from it. Yeah, we took like a cab ride
Yeah.
up, but we took the funicular down, and it was a glorious
So cool.
ride.
And it lets you off almost like halfway down the hill, and there's just
Yeah.
like this amazing bar once
It's a
you
little
go.
town.
Yeah, there's like this little town, or it's really part of Barcelona, a really
Yeah.
nice little neighborhood in Barcelona. But there's like this outdoor bar just overlooking the mountain and the city, and
Yeah,
we sat
just
there and
like
had
a little
Aperol
bus stop.
spritzes, and it was really nice.
We couldn't stop having
Yeah.
Aperol spritz. It was just the drink of the moment, and definitely there to help us celebrate every, just every moment. We enjoyed the hell out of that trip,
Yeah, it
and
was
it's
amazing.
sad to be back now for so long.
We had one scary incident that's kind of
Yes.
funny in hindsight.
This is our horror moment.
And luckily we're safe and nothing escalated, and before we could really even process what was happening, we were saved by hot police officers.
Oh my god, the most beautiful Policia Nacional. Oh!
Ay, ay, ay. But,
Muy caliente.
but we're heading to the train station. We spent a day in Perpignan, France, which was incredible also.
Yes.
But we had to be at the train station. Our train left at 8:20. We were going to walk. We're like, why not? It's a 45-minute walk. We'll be on the train for like an hour. Whatever. So we left about 6:45. It was, the sun's
Early
just
morning,
coming
yeah.
up. We're
Rising
kind of the
above
only
us.
people on the street on a Sunday morning. And we're not too far from the train station, but far enough. And we see a guy coming up behind us. And I tell Justin, I was like, get in front of me. And I don't know, the vibe was just off from
Yeah,
the
he's
beginning.
lightly engaging with us, trying to talk to us like, is the train station ahead?
We're like,
But he looked
"Yeah."
like a local.
Yeah, and so he kind of walked ahead a little bit, and then he stopped, acting like he was tying his shoe. And we just kept going, not knowing what's going on. And then all of a sudden, we just get splattered by something on the back of our heads and
Yeah.
neck. And,
At first, we thought it was like bird poop.
yeah, because we'd just seen like tons of birds, like maybe 2 blocks back, and made a joke about not getting pooped on.
Yes.
But it's like in hindsight, we got hit so hard, and we had to been like 10 birds at once hitting us.
Yeah,
Like, but
got
we
a
were
lot.
in a state of confusion. We're like, what the fuck is that? And I'm touching it, and it's all like bright green.
It's weird.
and
It's a weird, yeah, like mustardy
smelled
green
like
color.
vinegar and pickles.
And it ended up being in a like we later when the police were there and they were helping and like aiding us, because when it's all happening, this man is like, hey, I've got some tissues, and he's handing them to us, and in my head I'm like, why does this man just have tissues?
Yeah, he's like, here you go.
and he's cleaning us off, but he's also like trying to like touch us and get our bag, but like
and he
tell
kept
us
saying
put
to
it
me, like,
down.
here, put your bag right here. I'll, and trying to grab my bag. I'm like, no, it's
I'm not
staying
gonna let
with
go of
me.
my bag.
I had a big backpack on at that time, and he's trying to get it and trying to clean it off,
Yeah, but needing you to like not have
it
Yeah.
on me. And it's kind of like right then I started getting a little uneasy, but before I could even do anything, all of a sudden a cop car pulls up. I was like, woo, woo, and he's like, come here guys, come here. And we're like,
yeah,
what?
we're like saved.
Yeah, and
We
they're
didn't
like,
even know we needed to be saved.
and he's like, check your bags. So we're checking our bags. We're like, I don't think he got anything. He didn't get my bag or ever really touched
and then I
it.
started thinking maybe you put drugs in the bag. So then I'm looking like, is there any drugs in here? No. Like, I don't know. I was thinking some kind of like
Claire
broke down
Danes.
palace was going to happen.
Kate Beckinsale and Claire Danes moment for us.
Mhm.
But, yeah, and then more cops roll up. There's probably like 6 to 8 cop cars at one point. A lot of police officers out there. They find 2 other guys.
Yeah, there's a big scam going on because there's like 2 other guys that are in on the whole thing because we find out about them by the officers asking us, like, did you know about this man over here? Did you know about this man over here? And we're like, what? No!
Oh. And they, they're taking our passports, taking a statement from us. They're telling us we might have to might call on you again while you're here this week.
Yes. They
This is
didn't.
Sunday, and we weren't leaving till Friday, so we
Yeah.
still had most of the week ahead of us. And they were really nice, really helpful, but we were out there so long talking to them, we were about to be late for our train. And so
Our train to France.
Our train to France.
Our train to the south of France.
And so I just asked them, I was like, hey, can you guys give us a ride to the train station so we don't miss our train? And they're like, yeah, get in.
And 2 freaking hot ass police officers
Whisk us away, turn like the lights
whisked
on,
us away.
and drop us off at the train station. We made our train.
And we made our train, and they kissed us on the cheek and told us au revoir since we were going to France. And we said adios.
Adios, senor.
Oh, adios.
But they were super nice. Even there was like a woman police officer, and she
Yes.
was gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
everybody was.
It
They
was
were.
just hot
They
still.
only hire hot people to be cops in Barcelona.
But we ended up having a wonderful day in France, and we took the train back, and nothing happened, and we got an Uber on the way back.
Yeah, we
Like,
jumped
just
in a taxi on the way back.
decided we weren't going to chance it. We made it back safely. It was a wonderful trip.
Yeah.
And
Perpignan, France is a great place to spend a day.
yeah,
Maybe
it was
more.
a perfect. Yeah,
Like,
it was
we
a
just
perfect.
spend a day, so that's why I said that.
Yeah, but it was a perfect just like day trip, and I'm sure they had that we could have kept ourselves busy there for a few days. We got to go to some fortresses and palaces and castles while we were
Yeah.
on our journeys.
Saw the Palace of the Kings of Majorca.
Oh my goodness, that was so cool.
It was like what, from like the 1100s? or
Yeah,
something?
like
Yeah.
we were seeing like really old
stuff.
fortresses and castles,
Gorgeous too.
palaces that I just can't put into words just how big and expansive these things were and how people would have built them.
Took the train through the Pyrenees to go to the south of France.
The
for the day.
Pyrenees.
We spent a Sunday fun day in France after nearly getting mugged, but we were saved before we could really get mugged.
Yeah, like they didn't have a chance actually to mug us, which is
We were in the process
wonderful
of
phrase.
it. It was they were in step 1. They had just
Yeah.
squirted us.
and we were like, "You're not squirting me again, squirter." I mean, there's so much that we could just ramble
Yeah.
on and on about all
But
the.
we do need to mention the La Sagrada
Yeah, I was just
Familia.
going to say we need to just bring up a couple of the Gaudi museums and of course La Sagrada Familia.
Sagrada Familia is one of those glorious, beautiful, most intricate things I've ever seen in person. Man-made, you know.
Yes, it's a inspiring architectural just wonder.
And we got to go up in the tower and then walk down, which was scary.
440 steps on a spiral stone staircase, and it's so very tight and
You could fall down the middle because there's no middle railing.
yes, if you really tried, I'm sure you'd get stuck at some point.
Yeah.
But
You get hurt.
if you're like teensy, maybe you'd make it all the way down and die. But
Oh, gosh.
it's beautiful, it's colorful, it's majestic, it's also filled with like religious like iconography, and it's definitely a church. It's a wonder, it's a feat.
The Pope finally did something to it recently.
Yeah, blessed it, consecrated it, did something
He
to
did
it.
something to it.
He was like, hi,
The
and did like
Pope-
a drive-by.
Yeah, the Pope came to the Sagrada Familia and did something to it.
And so, yeah, it's a Catholic church, and it's gorgeous. There's tons of Catholic churches
But
around
even
there.
for the non-religious, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Amazing.
It's art. There are Antoni Gaudi is a genius.
They're still building it.
Yes, for a couple more years they'll still be building it,
Yep.
but they do have like they're in their final phase, and they know that it's all coming to an end, and that's it
It's
itself is a
yeah,
celebration.
and it's privately funded, is why it's taken like 150 years or
Yeah,
more
because
to
it's-
get it
yeah,
done.
it's got to be paid for by those that are donating.
Yeah.
We went to the Picasso Museum and
That was
saw, just wonderful works that he did while he was in Spain, and that he did a huge stint called Las Medninas, and then also a stint of the pigeons.
Yeah, my birthday pigeons.
Yes.
And I call it my birthday pigeon because it said he did it from like a certain date to September 14th. September 14th is my birthday.
So.
And I was like, oh, they're my birthday pigeons.
Yeah,
He
it was like September 6th to September 14th.
Yeah, he was painting pigeons in Barcelona. Like
While
went on
he
this
was
kick.
painting those medinias or
Yeah.
whatever, the ladies in waiting.
So then as we were walking around on my birthday, I kept saying, every time we saw birds or
Yeah.
pigeons, I'd be like, oh, it's birthday pigeon.
Birthday pigeon. And if we saw a dog, we kept calling it a perro de España. We love seeing animals in Europe.
They look different.
They are different.
Dakota, if you're listening, we kept talking about how dogs look longer.
Longer, skinnier, like their snouts look different. Even like the dogs that we have over here in America, in the United States, like dachshunds and stuff, like they look different over there. I don't understand, or I don't even know how to articulate it, but when we said it out loud to each other,
We're
all
like,
were
oh
in
my
agreement.
god. Yeah, we're like, oh my god, I was thinking that in my head, but
So it's
didn't want to say it out loud.
It's
I
a
thought
definite.
it sounded dumb, but then we were all like, no, it's true, they look different.
they look different. Like, yeah, but they definitely do. We went to some other Gaudis that we went to was La Pedrera Casamila.
Yes, that was so neat.
Gorgeous
Walking on
mansion.
Yes, and walking along the roof with
Yes.
the crazy chimneys and beautiful views of the city.
It's really hard to put into words just how absolutely majestic and colorful and inspiring Gaudi's works are, but when you see them, you just think like, wow, like it's art. It's so limitless.
He
And-
knew what he was doing.
Yeah, but he was creating like these huge spaces.
Yeah, he's like,
He had to have such a brain, like the brain power to think of how something so big, but when you put it together, it would look just so gorgeous and beautiful.
yeah, he was trying to bring something unique and beautiful into the world, and he did. He made a really cool city. Or
And-
helped make a really cool city.
There's over by like El Born and the Barria Gothica, this very old area of Barcelona. Picasso had done some outside work, so you're just kind of like walking around all of this famous art.
Yeah, it's incredible. Loved every moment. We also at the Casa Mila got our best friend rings that we've been
Yes!
on the hunt for months.
Not even months. Like we've talked about best friend rings for probably a year now.
But we haven't just
And
found anything that we really liked.
No.
But then we found these rings at Casa Mila.
And they were the most perfect rings too, because they kind of like look just exactly like what we were looking for. Something unique,
Mhm.
something that wasn't like, it didn't fit into another box.
Yeah. And
It
they're
was-
Gaudi inspired.
Yes.
They have like, what would you even call them? Like cutouts in them that look kind of like some of the balconies.
Yes, like they look
La
very much
Batia
like
or Casa
Casa
Batia.
Mila.
Well, Casa Mila, but also reminds me of Casa Batia,
Yes.
the other famous house he did in Barcelona.
It's just it's a fabulous city, guys. If you ever have the opportunity to
Go.
visit it, please go. You won't regret it.
I will say the most expensive thing about that trip was the flight. The food, everything there was so cheap.
Yeah,
Like,
euros
in the-
wise, it wasn't expensive at all.
Yeah, to put into perspective, sorry Dakota, I'm going to air your laundry. Dakota had a credit card that did not have any international fees, which our cards, every time we use them, there's like a 3% fee. And so she's like, I'll put everything on my card. At the end, I'll tally things up and tell you how much you owe. After like 4 full days of her paying for all our taxis and food and stuff, we each owed only $220.
Yeah, crazy. And we were eating amazing food. Like, we weren't skimping
No,
on
we
meals.
were eating whatever the fuck we wanted.
Whatever we wanted. We were walking 25,000 steps a day.
Those Aperol spritzes were flowing. Coffee was flowing. We were
Yes.
stopping in every cafe getting coffee and empanadas and
But
churros
it was so cheap.
But yeah, the food and everything, and you don't have to tip over there, which really helps with costs.
Yeah, because they pay a decent wage. Dakota was there for we were together for 4 days.
We were each there a week. Like, we
Yes.
were there a week, and then Dakota was going to be there a week.
But my sister's doing a whole month-long European adventure, and so she would just happen to be, in Spain, and we were in Spain, and she had come from Madrid to come see us. It was fabulous.
Wonderful trip. Go to Spain. Go to Barcelona. Dakota said Barcelona was the better out of the two, or the more lively, fun.
Yeah, Madrid or Barcelona. She says Barcelona.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
And you just have more options. You have a beach if you want to go have a beach day. You have the beautiful mountains, and
Yes.
the city's just
You can
amazing.
hop over to France.
Yeah, you can hop over to France in an hour.
It's wonderful, and it's good. Yeah, like Josh said, it's got a lot of views. We went to Park Güell, which in itself, it's an outdoor space that Gaudi had created for the city. It's a park. It's a place where we saw people exercising. It's a place where you can take gorgeous pictures of outdoor art spaces.
The musicians out there playing.
It's a bustling, thriving metropolis. There's the city center, which in itself has got these architectural skylines like that I've never seen before. These kind of skyscrapers.
Beautiful.
And gorgeous.
For such a massive city, even though we had that one creepy run-in, I never really felt unsafe. Even after that, I mean, you have to watch. It's a very pickpocket-heavy place.
You got to keep your things to yourself.
I had like my little cross-chest little bag that had my phone and wallet and stuff, and that felt safe. Because apparently it's not so much like violent crime and muggings, even though who knows what would have happened to us with those three guys.
Yeah.
If the cops hadn't showed up.
Yeah, would they have just been intimidating, or would they have tried to harm us? I'd hate to think so.
We've gotten
jeopardy.
Hit for them to get us, or whatever. But yeah, divinely or whatever it was, the universe helped us out and sent police right to us.
Yeah, thank the Creator.
We got the feeling that they had been running some kind of ring in that area, and the cops were out watching for it.
Yeah, maybe they were just kind of circling around, keeping a bird's eye view.
And they just happened to be there at the right place, right time.
Yeah.
While we were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, to segue from our little small horror story that happened within our incredible dream trip that it's the trip of a lifetime.
And like Justine said, we did go to the filming location, the exterior location of REC.
Yes, and it looked just like, when I saw it, I was like, yep, that's it. There it was.
And funny enough, it's actually across the street from the Casa Batillo. Is that how you say it?
Yes, the Casa Batillo.
One of the famous Gaudis that people visit.
And it's more kind of like one of the bluer, greener tones.
Beautiful. And it has
gorgeous.
I kept calling it, the balconies look like shark mouths.
Yes, it did. It looked like almost, it was missing all the teeth, but the bowing of it definitely looked like a shark mouth. Where the Casa Mila, they've said, looks like ice cream dripping.
Yeah, it's very wavy, but like smooth waves. Not choppy waves.
And he's also very inspired by like natural form, how trees are, but how bones, structures of animals are as well. He was very inspired.
And what was the word? The design where things like fit your form, like he designed
ergonomics. I forget. Ergonomics. Yeah.
Like he designed a door handle, and he took clay and basically just grabbed the clay and then formed the door handle that way.
Like how a natural hand would hold the door handle.
Yeah, like where a hand would just fit that way. That's just how you grab something. Yeah. So everything's very interesting. The lines. The shapes. When
you have the opportunity to just like listen and hear, somebody, because we were listening over, we had a guided tour, and when you're just listening to somebody kind of explain the inner workings of an artist's brain and how they came up with this, like the creative mastermind, I'm always in awe of things like that. Like I can't see that high above, like 33,000 feet in the air kind of thing. Like I'm very much an in the weeds person and in the details, but an artist like that, they're both. They're equally in both levels, and they can see the big picture, and then they get right there down into the nitty gritty.
Ooh, down into that nitty gritty too.
Down into the nitty gritty. Okay, we've got to start talking about the movie though, because I definitely want to talk about my favorite scene. Do you know what your favorite scene is?
Yeah, you go ahead and go, because I have a feeling we might be choosing the same one. but-
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you go ahead
Okay.
then, girl.
So I think you're going to see the old lady scene.
The end, yeah.
And
That's
I'm
fucking
going,
frightening.
and yeah, like the end scene where you guys are up
She
in
has,
the
she's
attic.
running around with a hammer.
Yeah.
And her titties are out. She soiled her panties.
That's true. No, I'm going to go the
So-
opposite, because
okay.
I think one thing leads to another. I think we got one old lady in her panties, and we end it with another lady in her panties.
Oh, you're going with the first old
Yeah,
lady in her
so
panties.
I think that sets the tone for the movie. It's like it's tension building. We have this like crazy loony manic lady. She is immediately like, we're on eggshells, so I don't know what she's going to do. And then when she does, and she bites into that police officer, and then we see her get shot, it's like we think she's over and done with, but no, she proves us she's like a zombie, and she's gonna keep coming back. She's infected. But that opening scene with her when they're walking down that corridor, and there she is, just kind of dangling her arms very primitively, it's immediately unsettling.
Yeah, in that opening scene, you get the benefit of the element of surprise. Like, you haven't seen anybody flip out and start biting someone yet, so when
Yes.
it happens, you're like, what the fuck? I thought it was just a sick old lady who was, like, off her rocker for a
Yeah,
minute.
we don't know where the movie is going.
Yeah, we're
we
like,
don't
what's
know it's
wrong
going
with
to
this
be
lady?
an infection kind of
Yeah.
movie, or like a zombie-esque kind of movie where one bite means you become the undead.
And she's, like, ripping that
Yeah.
guy's neck apart.
I mean, he got his whole
Those
throat just
tendons
torn.
are, like, being stretched.
It was R.I.P. The moment she grasped onto him, and there was that jerky kind of like his skin was being
Yeah.
pulled. No, bye. You're checked out, dude. Sayonara. Nice.
See ya.
See you later.
Wouldn't wanna be ya.
Adios, amigo. And then she is just crazed, and she's covered in blood dripping, and no amount of like sheer force is going to keep her down. It's a very just
To give you up.
never gonna she rickrolls them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it sets the tone for the tension of the movie. You are going to be on pins and needles wondering when someone's going to activate, when
yeah.
someone's going to just go off their rocker. You know it. If you're a horror movie lover and you're watching this movie, you know it's only going to go from bad to worse now.
Well, and it pays off too with like the little girl later in the
Yes.
mom. Like you feel
Jennifer.
that coming. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, she's gonna turn and start biting her
And
mama.
they keep giving you hints about it
Yeah.
too, like this like sick perro, the pequeña perro, like she's a little small doggy, but
Oh.
she's a sick puppy.
She was a sick dog.
Sick puppy.
doggy.
Yeah, okay, so
Can I touch your
Can I touch your dog?
dog?
Let's get into your favorite scene though. I definitely want to talk about it.
Well, it's the
Attic scene.
attic scene.
Yeah.
Creepy old lady, soiled
She's
panties.
not an old lady, she's just like a lady.
She's decrepit.
Yeah,
at
she's
that point.
saggy because
She's saggy. 'cause
she's saggy.
She's been going all natural her whole life.
Yeah, and she's only been eating whatever's been up there.
No
so.
telling, like rats, rat poop.
Yep. Whenever's the last time she had
Ew.
eaten, she had some soiled, nasty panties. I
Oh,
mean,
it's
I saw
nasty.
your soiled, nasty ass panties while we were in Barcelona.
Uh-huh.
Josh would just hang up his soiled, nasty ass
Nasty
panties
panties.
and be all European about
Yeah,
it.
I'd wash them in the sink. Just
Is
put
that the-
them out on the line.
Had like some big old skid marks in them.
Ew. You take that back.
I will.
Now, I will
I'll
admit
take
to
it back.
ass sweat on
Yeah,
that trip.
yeah, we were all having some drip. I'll just keep it there.
Yeah.
We were having some drip.
There's
and
one day
that's
we got
that.
back. I was like, Justine, it looks like I pissed my pants. Why did you tell? I guess my
Well,
shirt was long. You couldn't really see it.
Yeah,
but
and like
just,
we
like,
all was
sweat so
dripping.
much in my pants. Like, you know, your back sweats, goes down your crack and on
My
your
crack, sweat.
cheeks.
Yeah, it was just swamp ass everywhere.
But anyways, back to
Under-
favorite scene.
Under boob sweat. Yeah, favorite scene. So, when she's like banging that hammer.
That's so unsettling because you know someone's getting hit.
Yeah, well, you know, like it's the end.
And it brings, you know, you'll get moments of kind of quiet and then bam, bam, and you're like, oh, she's getting closer.
Yeah, yeah. It was then when she's like making all the sounds and there's that heavy breathing, and I was like, man, this is a found footage movie.
Yeah, and it's one of the best of
Yes.
the found footage movies. You know, Blair Witch did the damn thing.
Yes.
And then, it was in that time frame, too, where we were getting a lot of them. Like, we had this, then the American remake Quarantine, we were getting Cloverfield, Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, keep on, brother, keep on, brother, keep on!
Later
Keep
we would
naming them.
get one of my favorite, Chronicle.
Yes.
But that's not straight up horror.
It's
has terrific things
It's
in it.
adjacent,
Yeah, it's adjacent.
yeah, but, I mean,
But the
all to
genre,
say.
this is one of the better ones.
yes. This is a good found footage. It's solid. It's concise. It's not too long. It knows where it needs to land. It doesn't labor itself too much in any scene.
Yeah, I love a good 85 minute movie.
That's where it's at, horror-wise. I miss me with some of these long-ass 2-hour, 20-minute epic
Yeah.
soliloquies on... I can't.
Same with like Marvel movies. Those need
Yeah.
to be like hour and a half, hour 45 tops.
Yeah,
Like
that's... I gotta shut
nearly
that down.
3 hour. Hey, don't get me started.
Don't
get
get
me started.
me started.
Don't get me and Scorsese started.
Me and Scorsese, we could talk for hours about long ass movies that don't need to be long
Yeah.
ass, because Scorsese can make a long movie, but
Yeah, his
Y'all,
next one, Killers of the Flower Moon, is going to
that's
be 3.5
gonna be
hours. That looks
incredible.
incredible. Looks like a movie that deserves to be 3.5 hours.
yes,
Not Avengers Endgame.
we appreciate this. Okay, here we
Anyway,
digress.
So
Okay,
how
so
many
we
stars or knives? We do
yes.
knife ratings.
We do knife ratings here. We appreciate this movie. I think I'm going to give it, because I just like it a lot. I appreciate how it's all put together. 4. I'm going 4 knives.
Oh my gosh, I'm going a solid 4 knives.
Really?
Also,
Queen, yes.
I think the acting's good. Angela's
yeah.
a little over the top, but she sells it at the end. You want her. You're like, shut the fuck up, girl.
Yeah.
Like she
She's got
even
that
adds.
broadcast news in her, though.
Yeah, she adds to the tension because of that breathing. You're on edge because you're like, be quiet. It adds
Yeah.
another element.
And how do you know that in those moments of just sheer terror, that like she's not doing her very best to stay
Yeah,
like breathing? She's scared.
she is scared.
She got some saggy titty, like
Hammer
dirty,
wielding.
yeah, dirty panties,
Soiled panty. Crazy after her in
Yeah.
a dark attic,
and
which she just got chased up the stairs. That's a really creepy moment too, when she's
with all the zombies coming after her.
they look over the banister and you just
Yes.
see all these faces and the
In Sagrada Familia, when we were doing that banister walk down it reminded me of that moment in the movie when they're all looking up
yeah.
and
I looked down that once. I was like, don't do it again.
yeah, don't do it again.
Definitely
No,
got
we did-
instant vertigo.
Okay, well, you guys, we've both given it 4 justifiable knives.
We had the best time in Barcelona covering this movie, and by covering we mean going to one little location and then doing everything else we wanted to do.
Yes, and just
being in Spain where this movie was filmed.
yes, it was the trip of a lifetime. I know I've said it once, I'll say it twice, so you can put it down in the permanent record. That was hands down one of the best trips, one of the best friend trips we've ever gone on, ever.
For sure.
We're gonna do it again in a couple years when I turn 40.
Yay.
Lordy, he turned 40.
Oh my god.
All right, guys. Well, next month, it's Halloween time. There's so many things happening that we actually couldn't pin it down yet on what we wanted to do. So it's a Halloween mystery. It's a Halloween surprise.
To be determined.
To be determined, but
TBD.
of course, we've never missed a month in how many years, Josh, have we been doing this?
6.
So, guys, trust
Yeah,
the
you'll
process.
get an episode.
It'll
Boo.
happen.
Don't you worry.
Shh, girl,
Girl, we got this.
listener, shh, calm down.
Yeah, we'll have an episode. We're just trying to figure out,
What we're gonna do.
what we're gonna do. We just got
Yeah.
back from a big trip. So.
Yeah. So, brain space
It'll
wise,
be something low key, probably something Oklahoma oriented, maybe
Yes.
even Kansas.
It
We'll see.
it could be something, but we don't know. But it's gonna be Halloween related because it's the spookiest month of the year. Yay, we're in
It's
the Burrs.
Yes, the Burrs are the best.
Okay, guys, take care.
All right.
Thanks
Love
for
you.
listening. Follow,
Oh.
rate, review,
Yeah.
all that. Like us. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts because it's just something you should do.
And it helps us.
Yeah.
So please.
Help us. Help us. Help us.
Help us help you.
Help us.
Help us.
All right.
All right,
Take
something
care.
to do with something. Bye.